All right, Trey, you don't really have many notes in here. Did you want to write anything? You literally just wrote "how I did?" ? And that's the whole thing. No, you wrote "Padme looks fun." My bad.
Yeah, I wrote that as well. I don't. I'm gonna.
All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages, for episode 15 of On the Button. I actually got it right this week, as opposed to last time when I had actually no idea what episode number it was. How's it going, boys? Ian, Trey, welcome in. How you doing?
Doing great.
I just realized what you look like, Wes. You look like the guy from SEC Shorts. Not the main guy, the little short guy. I've been thinking about it all week because we've been talking about college football, and it just hit me. Yeah, but like the guy from the did you watch the one this week?
Yes.
The guy that like left the birthday party and then like went to be like the investigative guy. Like you look just like that guy.
Okay, I'm going to take your word for it because I don't feel that way at all. But okay, sure, whatever floats your boat, my friend.
I'm sorry, this is just pulled out of left field. Give me a 5 count and I'll start. Then I went, oh my God, that's what I remember about Wes.
Man, let me tell you something. This past Saturday, as a former Commodore and an Aggie, this past Saturday was hilarious. Just absolute hilarity on the airwaves. I could not stop laughing. It was priceless. I showed my wife this week's SEC Shorts last night, and she couldn't breathe. She was laughing so hard. It was wonderful. I was telling him about you watching SEC Shorts last night. Oh God, yes. She really enjoyed that. Well, guys, let's talk some Unlimited for a spell. We could talk college football probably for a while, but let's talk Unlimited because that's kind of why we're here. It's been about 10 days or so since we all made the trek up to Dallas for a limited Planetary Qualifier, the very first that any of us had experienced, seen, watched, played in, whatever.
Learned a lot about Ian on the trip.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, sure. you boys were carpool mates. Tell me how that went.
Yeah.
I realized I don't care for Ian.
Oh, okay. That's so mean.
Hello. Have you met me? No, it was fun. I part of the biggest, and thankfully, given how I did, the biggest thing for me about these trips is the people that I get to spend it with and the people that I get to know better. And even just playing these card games. Like I've been playing card games for 30 years, and the people that I meet that are outside of the bubble that I would normally interact with, given who I am and where I live and what I do with my life, this makes it. I love that. I love the different people that I'm exposed to, and I love getting to meet people and hang out with people. And in this case, I've been friends with Ian for over a year, but like we got to sit and chat for 3.5, 4 hours there and back.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun. I'll say Trey's a little gassy at times. A lot of burping.
When you lose 60 pounds, you got to do it some way.
That's one of those things that I could have gone my whole life and probably never known and been the better for it. So thank you for sharing. That's good. I'll say
so much fun though.
I'll say this. I think some of the most fun road trips I've ever had in my life have been either like TCG or just gaming road trips, right? Years and years ago when I lived in Virginia, we would road trip to big Lord of the Rings TCG events. A couple of years we road tripped from Washington, Northern Virginia, out to Columbus, Ohio. We did Origins a couple of years, which was a great event and always a fun trip. And so I know exactly what you mean, right? You talk about spending time in a car with your gaming buddies, just hanging out and getting to know them and talking about, because, you obviously have one interest in common, but
right.
What other things? Like what else? What do you read? What sports teams do you follow? Do you even like sports? Not every gaming nerd does. And so that's always half the fun of those kinds of trips. So cool. I'm glad
I ordered a book because of Trey.
Oh. Which one?
Yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah, he's been talking it up. I remember that. Yeah.
After I finish the new Dan Brown book, that one's up. That one's the next one up.
Okay.
So he convinced me to read that. So I'm looking forward to that.
I spent my drive getting caught up on some podcasts. So just kind of working through a backlog there, and some of them were really good, and some of them I had to turn off because I was dozing off at the wheel, and that was not working out for everybody. So that was That was
they
the
were a
thing.
little horse whisperer audiobook for you. And...
Yeah, that was a couple of them. Was like the topic was fascinating, but it was just how some people's delivery is not particularly engaging. So to me, that's
it was
that
evening
exactly
on the farm.
The how a story is delivered for me is almost more important than the content of it, right? Because the content might fascinate me, but if you can only talk in a monotone voice like this for more than 5 minutes, it's like my brain's like, oh, we're done here. I'm just checking out. So yeah, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, but we had a great time in Dallas. We got in, late-ish Friday evening. And we got over there. What we did, it was 7 o'clock. We got over there and did setup. I think 7 or 8, whatever it was.
It was about 7.
It was about 7. I feel like, yeah. And then was probably you guys left a few minutes before I did. I think setup was probably only a couple hours, which is typical. Usually it takes about 2 hours to get everything out of the car. Set up, pull the cables, plugged in, wired up, run some tests. Guys, I cannot say enough good things about Common Ground Games. I have never been taken care of as a streamer / caster at any venue the way they did. It's wild. They had a 5. I was thinking I was gonna have to set up my hotspot. I'm used to streaming off my hotspot. No, I walk in and they're like, "No, that's cool. We have our own fiber connection just for the staff. Here's an Ethernet cable. We hooked up the wall port for you. You're ready to go." I was like,
and the speeds on it were insane.
Yeah, it's gigabit fiber.
Insane.
It's a gig up and a gig
modern
down.
internet speeds.
And we weren't sharing it. That was the one that they had reserved for the staff and the registers. So we weren't sharing it with anybody in the store, which is another big problem you run into generally if you try to use store Wi-Fi for these kinds of things. And then of course just the communication with the venue, the space that they had set aside for us. It was fabulous. And the store was amazing. Did you guys shop in there at all? Did you wander around and look at the variety of stuff they had for sale? Crazy.
Yeah, they had a lot of good stuff.
Oh yeah.
They had that He-Man game that Ian was almost buying until I found out he would have to paint the minis.
I remember that.
Until I found out I had to paint the miniatures and I was out.
Too funny. Too funny. But we had Ian and I then spent the day casting the event. That was a ton of fun.
So fun.
I really enjoyed doing the draft. I think that was I was looking forward to that more than anything. And for my money, it was the most enjoyable part of it all. Just being able to sit there and ride shotgun over somebody and, try to put yourself in their brain. What are they drafting? What are they thinking? How are they, what's going on in here? What would we pick versus what they would pick? And we had so much fun doing that.
Yeah, I loved watching them build decks too. That was really fun.
That was interesting.
Both times for both the draft and sealed part.
You guys don't know this yet, but by the time this episode airs, the video will have appeared on my YouTube channel. Earlier this week, I sat down with our featured drafter and recorded a video like this where we went through the entire draft, just he and I. I muted our commentary, Ian. So it was just he and I talking through, why'd you pick this and where are you at and what's your thought process and we had a great time. It's about an hour or so and you can check that out on my YouTube channel if you want to. But that was a lot of fun. We had a great time. He did a lot of prep work for both the draft and the sealed portion of the event, which I thought was really, really neat.
Very cool.
Yeah. So Ian and I had a magnificent time. Trey, I don't believe you enjoyed yourself quite as much.
Well, I want to reiterate that I don't go on this to do. I mean, I want to do well, but it's a good thing that I get the majority of my enjoyment from being with my friends and hanging out. Because if I like to win, I try to win, I do my best to win. But if my expectations are to either win or I have a bad time, I had a horrible time. If that's my expectations, because it was bad, and I blame you, Wes, because you didn't put me on stream to build, and so I got garbage packs. If I had been in the other room, I'd have gotten different packs, and then I'd have been fine. So it's all your fault, Wes.
You're welcome.
So I've struggled to talk about this because I've listened to other people talk about their games and especially complaining about sealed pools. It's never interesting. People want to sit and grouse. People like to grouse about anything, and hearing somebody else bitch and name I had this and this and this card and card X and card Y, it doesn't paint a good picture or tell a good story. So rather than go over like, this is my sealed pool. That's just a terrible story, and I don't want to bore people. But I will say that I've been playing cards for, I said this earlier, 30 years, and I've done a lot of sealed and a lot of games. This is the worst pool I've ever had. I think of things in terms of bell curves and
Feels
like
bad.
the quality of cards that you get. Like, it's gonna, if you gave a number to every card and added it all up, your pool is this powerful. It's a 7 power or whatever it is. Like, and then the middle 2/3 of what the power could be is the
middle of the bell curve.
Inside the bell curve, where most
Right.
of 2/3 of the time you're going to live.
Sure.
I lived so far on the weak left end of this bell curve, it was awful. And I would start with the rares, but you open 6 rares. I played 1, and it was a bad rare, and I only played it because I needed it was a droid ship for 7 that makes droids bigger.
Yeah.
It was your one bomb.
I had, that's a bomb. I had, you come away with 18 uncommons. I played 4, and none of them were powerful. Like, the most powerful uncommon I played was like the 2/2 that gets bigger if you have another black unit.
Oh,
then
the
so it
Purge,
was a
the
bunch of-
Purge Trooper or the Sith Legionnaire or something like that. Yeah.
Sith Legionnaire, I think is what it's called.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But it was so bad. But then, like, I sat down and I promptly lost the first game, and I went, okay, I'm just going to lose. And then I like ripped off 3 wins in a row, and I had like the third game that I played, I had like the craziest. At one point I had these plans laid out. I'm going to play a big unit, he's going to kill it, and then I'm going to play another big unit, and I've run him out of destruction, and so then I'm going to beat him to death with this big unit. But just in case he deals with it, I have this third big unit to go with. No, he killed every one of them. So at 30 seconds before the end of the match, I was like, how have you lost a match? This is you have so much removal. And then I promptly beat him like 30 seconds later. No, that was an amazing play. Like, I ripped the thing off the top that had ambush and heal your base for 2, which was the perfect amount so that I could get that last hit. So that was
the
an
temple
incredible
guards. Yeah. Okay.
temple guard. So I got a big hit in with, anyway. That part was fun. Then you guys put me on stream, and I went, oh, I love to play on stream, and I played, and I rolled up, and bam, I crushed game 1. I'm like, I just misjudged this pool, and then I lost the next 6 games in a row to go from 3-1 to 4-3, and not one game was close, and it was dumb. And apparently Ian watched me on stream and was like, how is Trey 3-1?
We both said
I couldn't believe it.
We both said
I couldn't
that.
believe it.
Well, partly. Yeah. So there were a couple of things. When we first put you on stream, we don't know what's in your deck, right? We put you on stream,
right,
I think in round 4, round 5. What?
It's round 5. Why? Yeah. Because you didn't watch me build and gave me crappy cards.
That's fine. You'll live. So we put you on stream, and we're like, well, Trey was complaining about this card pool, but he's 3-1. It must not be that bad. And we watched the first game, and you lost the first game. It was like, well, okay,
I won the first game. That's the last game I won the whole day.
I thought you won the middle game. Anyway, you won a game, and I remember thinking, well, obviously this isn't that bad. And then it was like the next 2 games or whatever, the other games that your opponent won. And you guys were having a great conversation, by the way, about like fantasy football and everything while you were playing, which was really fun.
I love Steven. He's amazing.
So we're sitting there.
That talk went away after Trey won the first game. It silenced up and got very serious.
But
we're
watching him come up with these cards, and after 3 games of watching your deck, he's got good cards, and you clearly are just outclassed from a card pool perspective. Yeah. And at that point, I remember Ian and I looked at each other going, how did he win 3 matches?
I couldn't even believe it. Like, we were shocked.
Oh, and one of those matches, I got a game loss for recording my deck wrong. So I had to sweep that match to get the win. But yeah, watching me, everything after that first win that I had on camera, everything after that was like me being a bunch of 3rd graders playing against Michael Jordan. It was just sad. F them kids. Like, it was. I felt like the Washington Generals.
I want to ask briefly about the mechanics of the day, because you experienced this and we didn't, obviously, as from the stream side. So, you come in, you get your packs, you open everything up, you hand it to your opponent, they log your card pool and so on. Was that intuitive? The judge staff did a good job with that. Did it make sense? Did it flow fairly well? Give I'm trying to put this out there for folks who haven't been to a limited event like this or are going to experience one for the first time soon.
So there's in previous games, I know what to expect, because there's a way to do this that has been done in Magic is what I've did it in before.
Okay.
Where to prevent people from cheating and bringing in a bunch of their own cards, and my pool is at the far right powerful end because I added 10 rares or whatever. There is a way that this is done where you come in, you get you get your packs, and then they get recorded on a piece of paper if this is what you have. And then you also on that same piece of paper, you record, this is what I'm playing. Previously, the way I've seen this done is that you get 6 packs, you open them, you record, and then you take all of that and you pass it. Sometimes it's pass right, pass across.
You give it to someone across from you or next to you or whatever.
Yeah, the cards you open are not what you're going to keep.
Okay.
That's the way I've always seen it done. So there's an issue with this game where they don't want people. I guess it's a FFG thing where they don't want somebody to open not a prestige, a showcase, and then have to give it away, because you might open a showcase and they don't want to give it away. So they wanted to address the feel bad of opening really good cards and having to pass them off, I guess.
Okay.
And so the way that we did it here is you and I are sitting across from each other, Wes. I go first. I open a pack of cards. I fan it out. I show you there's nothing ridiculous. Okay. I don't have like 6 rares or there's something. I don't have.
Right.
Here's the cards. It looks like a pack of cards. There's nothing silly about it. Okay. And you give me the thumbs up. Yeah, you did it. And then I do the second one, the third one, all the way down to the 6. Then I take those cards, I stack them up, I put them on a piece of paper, and I push them to the side a little bit. And then you do the same back to me. You show me that these are just 6 regular packs of cards. There's nothing up my sleeve. Look, check this out. This is the packs I opened. And then we slide those across to each other. And then I record what you have in your pool on the piece of paper. And then you record mine, and then we
pass them back. And then you verify that your opponent's done it correctly.
And then you go through it and you verify. And now if you're going to do this, do everything in alphabetical order. So I've done this enough that I know, like you split everything into here are my yellow cards, here are my blue cards.
Right.
But inside that, you then, before you write anything down, this is just advice to people out there, put everything in that pile in alphabetical order. So all your yellows are in alphabetical order. All your blacks are in alphabetical order. And then you can just go through and just kind of, he's got 1 of these, he's got 2 of these, he's got 3 of these. And then it goes much further.
We saw him working on that.
James was really unorganized. It took him a long time to record. Yes. The other person was it?
Michael.
Michael?
It was Michael.
Michael had all of his stuff really organized exactly like that, and he was done very quickly.
Yeah, right. And so I was Michael in that scenario, and the guy that sat across from me was Jason in that scenario.
Okay.
And so he made mistakes on my piece of paper. So then you have to, if you don't prepare it ahead of time and just write down this and that and the other, and then go back, oh, he's got a second one of these, I've got to scratch out the 1 here and write a 2, like that sort of thing. Then you have to call a judge over and be like, hey, I scratched this out, and here, this is what's happening. Okay. And so so if you get it, you want to organize the cards first, then
before
write them down.
You log anything. Okay.
Before you log anything, then you log the things, you pass them back, you pick up your neatly stacked and organized cards, and you just go through and then verify. Like, okay, this is what it is, this is what it is. And then they say build, and then you have all these cards in front of you, and you just build a sealed pool, just like you would at a pre-release. And then once you're done, the difference with the pre-release is that once you've chosen your starting deck, that's your deck for the whole tournament to start with. Games 2 and 3, you can swap out whatever you want the whole time. It doesn't matter. But that is your starting deck, and you have to record that, and you have to turn that in. And that's what I got a game loss because I forgot to write down that I was playing Snoke and that I was playing this base. And so I got that game loss, and all right, I wrote it down, and then I proceeded to win that match.
Now, are you allowed to just grab? Are you allowed to grab any base you want at any time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just like you can get any base.
Any common base you want at any time.
Yeah, any common base. That's in that set. So you couldn't go get a 30-point base with this.
No, obviously.
But similar to a draft or to a pre-release, all the bases get pushed to the middle, and then you just grab whichever one you want. Nobody cares about that. Couple of things that if you're going to run one of these tournaments, make the print bigger and print on legible paper. So in order to make this, to facilitate this,
they get colored paper.
They did colored paper. So one side of the table got green and one side of the table got red. And the print was maybe
was black.
4 point. It was black,
tiny.
But it was also super, super tiny. Like I have very good vision and I couldn't see anything. I had to like take my phone out and zoom in to see it because I had the red paper. So there's not a lot of contrast between the red and the black, especially if they're tiny. So, I mean, if you want to do like a yellow and a white.
Yeah, like white, that would be white or light blue or something. Yeah, okay.
Just something that has high contrast. So if you're running one of these tournaments, you want to pay attention to that because they didn't. I mean, they had a good idea to do it in separate color paper, so it's not getting mixed up. They just chose the wrong paper because it didn't occur.
First time for everything.
Yeah. As far as how it actually ran here, it was great. So anyway, once you build your deck and you turn your paper in, and then just like you would turn in a deck list at any other tournament. And then they do pairings, and you go off and play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a lot more setup ahead of time, but it's doable, and it's been done in this game and other games before. And it's if you're going to go out to one of these tournaments, don't let that be daunting. You've opened packs before, and you've organized cards before, so that's all you really need to do with this.
Yep. Cool. Well, I had a great time. I'm looking forward to doing another one of these. I think Ian and I made a good enough impression with the store that they'll have us back again, which is good. So fingers crossed.
They made a great impression on me.
Oh, they did, for sure.
Brought me pizza. Let me use an employee restroom. That was huge, bro. Like huge.
That was really cool that they basically took us in and were like, you guys, while you're here for the day, you guys, have access to the employee break room and the employee restrooms and stuff. So we had access to the fridge and everything. It was really nice.
That's nice.
So that was.
So they have a social media manager that we met on Friday night. I think his name's Grant. Anyway, that guy was super stoked to not have to be doing it himself. Like, he was, in addition to treating you right, you were helping him out, because he was going to have to do like what you're doing, but without all of your equipment for the social media for the store. So he was like super pumped to have you there doing it.
Grant was my contact, and like he and I had 3 separate meetings, like Zoom meetings, not long ones, 15, 20 minutes, conversations before I went up there. One even before they had agreed to let me come, they were just like, we don't really know you. Let's chat for a bit. And it was like, okay, sure. Like, no big deal. And then, while we were there, he was our contact, and he was always super helpful. And, hey, do you need anything? And here's the gear that we have if you want to borrow any of it, because they've got some stuff for doing streams in the store. He was really curious to see my setup. He took a ton of pictures. He asked me a bunch of questions. And I told him, I was like, the same thing I've told other people who try to stream unlimited. If you have any questions about what I do or how I do it, or just ask, like, tag me on Discord, send me an email, whatever. Like, I'll chat about this stuff for hours. Sometimes you gotta shut me up, right? So it's cool. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
It was also side. It was a great time.
It really was.
Yeah. I'll say this though. If you're doing draft or doing sealed like this, Churret, man, you have to have Churret.
Oh, you have to have a plan for him.
Games, yeah.
You have to have a plan
for him.
So you guys watched a lot more the different decks than I did. Were there any cards that stood out that like this was in every deck that did well? I mean, obviously Churret. Obviously there's Churret, but is there anything else? Churret's obvious because Churret's an uncommon.
Any blue-red combo did really well. Like, just played a little smoother than everything else. And protect the pod. If you're playing draft and you don't need a card and protect the pods in there, get that sucker out of there. We watched that just devastate everybody's bombs and win games. Those were the 2 that stood out hardcore. Churret was really hard to get through, and protect the pod allows you to do damage to a unit, right? Based on the health of a unit.
It's a green event that costs 4. That says do damage to a unit based on the remaining hit points of one of your non-vehicle units.
Yeah.
So it can't be like a Star Destroyer. It has to be like, it's meant to work with the Purgles, right? But plenty of people we watched it used with Snoke or Mace, right? Trey, this is one of those cards your opponent blew you out with in your match, right? Because he was on Obi-Wan Red. And so he had 2 Protect the Pods. And one game you got hit with both Protect the Pods, Mace Windu with his little Use the Force damage, and he had a Sorceress Blast in there. He had a lot of direct damage in that deck.
Sure. If you say so. My head was spinning. I was falling on the ground. I couldn't tell you what he played against me.
The bottom line is that, I think everybody went into the set thinking about the blue removal cards, right? Shatterpoint, the big one. Crushing Blow, maybe to a lesser extent, but in this format, a very impactful card. I think
was Whirlwind good?
Whirlwind of Power was amazing.
Well.
We saw tons of Whirlwind of Power, and then of course I think a lot of folks tend to overlook Protect the Pod, and in this environment, it's a very, very, very good card in the green deck.
It's such crazy work. Yeah. Like, literally won games. It was a game-winning card at times.
It was.
You're just like, wow.
It was.
Like,
word of advice to people building these decks: if a card has the ability to kill another card, that you play that card.
It's pretty good.
Turns out, even the crappy like colorless pay 7 kill that guy is a great card.
If I'm drafting and Protect the Pod comes through, I'm pulling it.
Well,
if I'm not playing it, I'm pulling it out of that pack.
Some of the stuff in this set is so good. We saw plenty of people playing it off Aspect. We saw Talzin's Assassin in decks that didn't have blue in it. They were just villain decks. And it's like, I mean, I'm going to have a Force token anyway. I'm going to play the thing, use the Force, and probably murder a unit for 6, and I get a 4/4. That's not a bad value. Like, I'll take that. So people were willing to pay the aspect penalty on certain cards, which is normal in this format. But I think sometimes if you haven't played a lot of draft or a lot of sealed, that catches folks off guard. They're not quite ready for it.
Hey, I got one other story about my deck. Didn't have a single card in it that said use the Force. Not one card said use the Force to get something ability, because I didn't have any good ones that did anything.
That's so funny. That's so funny. All right, guys. Well, listen, of course, the big news of the weekend premiere is the meta change, right? Last Friday, FFG put up a last-minute stream scheduled for this past Monday, about 48 hours ago now, as we sit here and record this. And immediately everybody went, I wonder what they might be doing.
Bring back TDR.
Yeah, totally. The immediate speculation was that Force Throw would finally get the axe, and of course that is at long last what has finally occurred. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now declare victory. My final Galactic Championship hot take prediction is now here. Force Throw is dead. Is on the ban list. Flex.
How do we feel about that?
I think it's overdue. One of the things that I saw a lot of folks talk about in this meta is they're like, Force Throw's fine. Look how diverse things is. I'm like, guys, there is a difference between a diverse meta and a healthy meta, and they're not always the same thing. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. And I never felt like we reached a really healthy meta after Legends of the Force, because Force Throw continued to gatekeep certain things out of the environment. Think about this. For 2 or 3 sets, we saw people like, I'm going to pick on Alex Blandon for a minute because he's very synonymous with this deck. Han 1 green, right? A very strong deck in the hands of a very experienced, very strong player. Went and won PQs with it. Suddenly Legends of the Force rolls around. Deck is unplayable. Why? Force Throw. Force Throw is everywhere. Han, in general, eats his cards to play his resources, and if you're gutting his hand, he's in trouble, right? He has nothing to play. And now with everybody playing Force Throw, almost the leader is entirely unplayable in this environment. That's just one example. And so now...
Apparently Piet is completely knocked out of the metagame, was knocked out by Force Throw.
None of this shocks me.
Yeah, 100%.
And so now, and on top of that, right, Force Throw being so amazingly powerful, there was stuff that Legends of the Force introduced that literally nobody played because this combo was so amazingly good. Like, why would I play anything else? Like, I still think, again, we've all crapped on yellow in this set, but not exclusively to this set. And in Premiere, you're not exclusively limited to Premiere cards. If I'm going to say build Obi-Wan yellow, right? Obi-Wan Cunning, I think, has a lot of potential to be a really good deck, but it was never going to get anywhere when you had Force Throw in the environment, just because why would I play something that's only A tier when I could play all these S tier decks? Like, what's the point? So finally, with this thing going away, I think we're finally going to start to see, yes, a continued diverse meta, but a more healthy one that has a little less red in it and a little more variety.
I would like to see them relax their bar for what it takes to ban something. Now that we're suspend ban, whatever.
The bar's the same, I feel.
The what?
The bar that they've set for a card being banned, I feel, is the same. It's how it feels to sit across the table from it, right? They banned TDR. When you're on the other end of getting TDR'd to death, it's terrible. When you're on the other end of getting DJ'd death, it's terrible. When you're on the other end of getting 3 Force Throws and 3 continuing rounds, phases,
but it has to be,
throw your cards. So I don't know. I feel like their level has been the same for it.
The level is consistent, but they require it to go on for too long to me.
I agree with.
That's what I said. That's the bar I'm talking about. They allow it to go on for too long because there's only so many months, there's only so many days, there are only so many tournaments that can go into this particular metagame before the next set comes out, and I want them to be able to preemptively identify, not preemptively, like maybe it goes through Galactics and you see it, okay, they proved it, but then don't wait around. Like when, like
Yes.
in Galactic,
They
it
should have
was,
gone
what,
after Galactic.
75% of the top 8 ran all of them,
Yes.
and that should have been enough. I would like
Yes.
to say, but because I don't think it's the end of the world to ban something. Like if
No.
you prune that little one card from the metagame, and all of a sudden it frees a bunch of things up. And if the first, I can see taking a long time to do the first one, because when they first banned Boba, that was the first time they had told people that spent money on cards that you can no longer play these cards in the real world. So sorry, you spent money and wasted it. Don't worry about that. I can see it taking a long time to get to the point where you wanted to ban something. But now that we're here, and now that everybody that plays the game and plays competitively is comfortable with the idea that sometimes if you play something and it's super powerful, there's a chance they're going to come snip it. I want them to go quicker. I want them to see it and react and move quicker, so that we get more time to explore the rest of it.
Guys, look at the date. It's the 17th of September as we sit here and record this, right?
So it's like 6 weeks.
In 6 or 7 weeks, we're going to be at pre-releases for the next set. And that's all the time we're going to get to absorb Legends of the Force without Force Throw.
Right, and we could have had 6 additional weeks, because 6 weeks ago is when when you could see that
this was
it was just in every deck. Like you had to play.
It's not even a see; it's a feel. Wes has been on the other end of this because I put him on the other end of this. I hit him with 3 straight Force throws.
Yeah,
he got so mad. He's like, "I'm done for the night. I'm not playing anymore."
Just packed it up. I was
because of how it feels. Like, again, we talk about this over and over on this podcast about how their playtesting is really lacking. I'm pretty sure they knew this was coming. They wanted to see how it played at Galactics. They saw that it dominated and did nothing. That's their and like you said, that is their biggest problem.
Yeah,
like if you've got to play test these things and know that this is broken, and they don't know it's broken until way too long.
Well, that you have to prove to them so over and over and over too long how broken it is. It takes too long. You watch if you're an agile company and you're an agile managing this game actively, then you see Galactics and you go, let's ban it. And if things go to crap, then you go, okay, well that was a little much, we unban it. So just be more agile.
First of all, I agree with everything you guys have said. Right? My frustration.
That you gave me bad cards.
Yes, exactly. My frustration, I think, Ian, is, you talk about, the playtesting. They called this card out before the set dropped. When they did an update in early July, before the set even dropped, they were like, we're keeping an eye on this. We're concerned this might be an issue. And at the time, before the set...
Their own footage made it an issue. I've gone back and watched that Galactic Championship.
Well, yes. Okay.
If you had done a counter, Force Throw would have been in the hundreds.
We'd have been hammered, man.
It was played and effective in every single match.
Right.
Every one of them.
And so it was clear that they believed that there was a potential problem. They were going to keep an eye on it. And at the time, in early July, before the set has dropped, I remember thinking, I think this is going to be a problem too. I think they're going to have to ban it, but I could be wrong. Let's wait and see. After Galactics, it was clear, it was obvious that this needed to happen. Why we lost 6 more weeks, or at least 4 or 5 more weeks of it, is just beyond me. This bar that they have set for, we have to have enough internal data before we'll do anything. Guys, it pains me to say it. I think you're going to have to start taking some risks based on your experience as game designers, okay? Sometimes the right play is not necessarily, I'm going to wait for data. No, sometimes the right play is, I have to fix this problem before the data tells me I have a catastrophic failure, right? And part of your job is you're paid to have that, I don't want to say that prescience, because that's trying to predict the future. Your experience, like I'm an engineer, okay? I've been an engineer, a mechanical engineer for 25 years. One of the reasons I make what I make is because I have 25 years of experience doing it. Mm-hmm. And when I tell a client, guys, I think this is a bad idea based on my experience, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, they at least listen to the conversation. They'll have the conversation and listen to what I have to say. If whatever people at FFG are making this decision, if they're not willing to listen to their own game design team, when they say, guys, we feel like this is going to be a real problem, I think we should just get in front of it. And somebody says, no, we need more data. Man, that needs to stop. Like, I'm with Trey. Like, agility is a great word to use for it. Whatever word you want to throw at it, we need to be willing to take risks to protect the integrity of the meta. They're not going to be perfect, right? Every card they design is not going to be flawless. This is going to happen again. And I don't want to lose 6 or 8 more weeks of play time simply because they won't act. It becomes a lost season. I have not played hardly a game since Galactics. I went to one. We did a draft, and then I went to one night, I think, after Galactics, and that's it. I've just been so disinterested in it because I'm just going to go and get Force Thrown for 6 times, like 12 times. Like, I don't care. I don't want to play that. I'll play something else. It's just pointless. And so. Anyway, I could go for a while. Somebody else speak.
I don't know. I think we.
I don't know. That kind of sums it up. My only question to you guys is, how has overwhelming barrage made it this far? Because it's the other card that's unbalanced. It's going to be the new build around card. It's going to be the most powerful.
It always has been though. Again. It's not.
But that's my
anywhere.
point.
Yeah.
It's the only. It's somehow. It's just been like it must skirt just that line where it's not powerful but not overwhelming. Like it's right in that middle lane, but it feels like sometimes that was the other card that I was always expecting to get banned, and it just never has.
Same.
If force throw had costed 2.5, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and it would never have been banned.
You're not wrong.
It's a power to cost ratio. And over OB costing 5 it's not bad to have dominant cards in the game that when they play they take over the game. It's bad when you can do it and it barely costs you.
It barely costs anything. You barely move the needle on your resource curve. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Now, I'll say this. I do feel like they missed the boat on Overwhelming Barrage by not making it target a vehicle. I feel like for the intent of that card, if you make it target a vehicle, it's still a good card, but it changes what you can play it on now. You can't just say, I'm going to OB my Vader, right? It's like, I'm going to OB my Star Destroyer. I'm going to OB this AT-AT or this Chicken Walker or whatever. That starts to make more sense thematically, and the card is still good. It's less playable than it is now, but I still feel like that would have been a decent compromise. But we could have that. That's probably a different conversation.
Yeah. So what are you guys building in the wake of it?
Good question.
You guys
Ian,
anything creeping up in your head?
what do you got, Ian?
I'm working on I'm trying to mill strategy. I'm going to find the right leader, and I'm going to do some mill and just see how frustrating that is. I just feel blue right now is going to the meta because there's so many great control cards right now. So, I don't know. I'm going to jump on board with the control bandwagon.
Trey, what about you? So I don't know that I've ever, I'm sure I've played Force Throw, but I don't remember playing Force Throw because I don't usually just grab decks that other people are good, and I haven't been interested in playing competitively in this metagame. What I have done a couple of weeks ago or a couple of episodes ago, we talked about this blue deck with Ian wanted to play his Showcase Luke, and so he built this deck and then asked me to look over it, and I made some tweaks to it, and he played it on Carabas, and it was great. When we go play like in person and locals, I don't want to like steal somebody else's deck idea. It feels like I'm taking
You're not stealing it. It's a collab.
I know, but you built I don't want to play the exact same thing as somebody else. Like I helped you build your deck. It was originally your idea, and you wanted to build this deck because you have the showcase.
Yeah.
And then you never freaking built it.
Well,
I would play this thing. I would play this thing on Carabas and have a ball.
On Carabas, I struggled. I struggled with that deck against the Force Throw meta. Because you have to play undervalued units that you're trying to get a shield on. If you play the unit, gets destroyed by Force Throw, you never get the shield out, you're paying undervalued. So I've struggled to play against the Force Throw meta with that deck. Now, it's probably the best you can make Luke, but at the end of the day, I feel Luke is a garbage leader.
Luke is awesome. Oh my goodness, you're just doing it wrong. You gotta you have to sit at my feet and watch me play.
Fighting words.
So yeah, Ian's bad at the game. That's okay.
But you're not. I mean, you're right and you're wrong. Okay, I'm getting better every time I play, but I still have a lot of sequencing issues and setting up my combos that I don't see the long term, which I'm trying to get better at as I play. But there are plenty of decks that I've played and built, Trey, that I've struggled with, and then you just pick up and automatically start whooping everybody's ass with. So this isn't a new thing to me. It's why I go to you with help with deck building, because you really help find the right cards. This Luke deck is fantastic. It's very fun to play. It was very frustrating when I ran into a meta deck and just got run over.
Okay, so I don't necessarily play a lot of meta decks, and I guess I did better than you did. But anyway, my point is that I didn't build it because I wanted Ian to be able to build it. I didn't want to show up to our Tuesday nights and us both have the same deck, and then like it's not special for Ian anymore. Like I helped Ian build his deck, and it's supposed to be special for him, and he doesn't freaking show up with it. So finally, I was just like, you know what? Screw that.
Tired of waiting.
I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to build this deck myself. So now I've been playing it on Karabast. I've been doing tweaking. And now I've built it in physical, and it is so much fun. So the deck is mono blue Luke, and it is just a ton of fun. It plays dudes. It has a lot of restore. It puts out shields. It uses some cards that are not particularly well used. I've got a couple.
100%.
I've got one of the I don't. What is size doesn't matter or whatever the
size
the
matters
card
not.
That turns size matters not turns into a 5/5. I got that in there. It's got Doom in there.
Doom is fun and double blue. Yeah.
It's I don't know. It is super tons of fun, and it's kind of I use the term pinball-y, like it's just this thing pings off of this thing, not with damage or anything, but it's got a lot of moving parts and
a lot of things, a lot of places where the cards all interact with each other in fun ways.
Right.
Long sequences to set up. Very long sequences that can be super powerful. Like one of my favorite combos to set up is you play the T6 shuttle.
And protect
the 3/4, which is a 3/4 in space, and if it gets attacked, it gets an experience
before the attack.
So you play that out. So you play that out. I usually try to play it out on the 5 resource turn. I'm playing that out. Because your opponent thinks, oh wow, he's really playing undervalued, so he's gonna attack. And that unit's going to stay alive. So the next thing I do is I put a shield on it. And then the next thing I do is I put protector on it. And now I've got a 5/4 with a shield on it that any space unit that attacks it, it gets stronger every single time. And it just grows and grows and grows. And then Trey put the pilot in there. Who was the pilot? Paige, right?
Oh, Paige Tico. Yeah, she gets.
Paige Tico.
Oh, she's so good on that. Yeah, that's crazy. You can get Paige Tico on there. Yeah, that's
so now you've got this gigantic unit that just is absorbing and hitting, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows. Yeah. And I've one-shotted with that card, gotten like 15 damage on it before.
That's crazy.
To do 15 damage. So it's pretty neat. But you have to really know how to set up the combos. It's fun though.
I sat down today. I've had an idea rolling around in my brain for a while I pulled a showcase Rio. I think Rio was one of the only showcases I pulled out of JTL. And I'm like, I'm tired of this card sitting in my binder. Rio Durant. He's the little 3/5 guy, the pilot from Solo. He's yellow-black.
From Solo.
From Solo, yes.
Right?
From Solo.
Yeah, gets shot in the back or whatever.
Yeah, but his ability and his flip side are actually pretty good. He just never has gotten a lot of play. And so I'm going to try him probably with yellow. Probably try him as a double yellow villain and mess around with that, with cunning and some other things, and just try it out. And then I'm 100% going to build Obi-Wan yellow, a new Obi-Wan from Legends of the Force, because I feel like by the time you mix the Force token in with some of those really, really good hero yellow units out of this set, like imagine a world where my first turn is I play Youngly Padawan, I grab a Force token, Obi-Wan action, bam. My first turn play is now a 3/4 going into round 2.
Yeah.
That feels pretty good, right? Or you could mix it up with the Jedi Consular and bring stuff in early. Like imagine being able to burn your Force token and ambush Depa Billaba in on 4 resources. Like that would feel pretty awesome. Get that Force token back and then buffer at the end of the attack. Like there's a lot of really cool interactions with Obi-Wan and Cunning that I want to try. I want to mess around with it. If it sucks, then whatever. But I want to build it because it's a deck that I think really kind of got gatekept a little bit.
You should run Shi and Flurry in that. That looks
100%.
Giving something ambush to, and then it kills something, it stays alive, and
it takes less damage on the ambush.
But it also, by attacking immediately with your Force thing, you get the Force, so then Obi can pump him up right afterwards.
Him up right away.
He doesn't have to live.
Yes. So or even a card like Trust Your Instincts, right? Use the Force, it attacks at +2, There's some other effect to it, but then of course if it's probably a force shoot, you're gonna get your token back. Like there's a lot of things a lot of interactions in that deck that I think are really interesting. There's a lot of potential. I want to try it, right? If it sucks or I don't like it, then fine, I'll build something else. But I want to build that one. I'm gonna build those two probably over the next few days. I need to go into my Vader double red and pull the force throws out and mess around with that a little bit. It doesn't need much though. That's not a huge card in that deck. In fact, replacing it with something else will actually help Vader a little bit because I'll replace it with probably villain cards. Force Throw was one of the only non-villain cards in the deck. Is there anything else that I'm going to build? I don't think so.
So I found last night when I went and played cards, someone brought a Barris deck, and I've been watching it get played.
Had that in my brain.
I want to tickle around with Barris because I think being able to play things cheaper.
Say blue.
His was Barris green.
Okay, I've been green. Blue is the one I've been trying to work on.
I don't know. I want to go research and look into SWDB and see what I can do with Barris playing things cheaper. That sounds fun.
Yep. Now, one thing that I am going to be doing over the next few weeks, and this is a bit of a plug for my YouTube content, we are one of the local stores here ran a leader draft. They basically they laid one of every leader out, and everybody drafted a leader pool to build trilogy decks out of. And we're going to have that tournament in a couple of Sundays. So what I'm going to do is everybody drafted 5 leaders because I think we only had 8 or 9 people that were able to like participate. But this is something they're going to be doing more often.
Where was it?
The Forge.
Okay.
And I did the draft. Like I couldn't actually go, so I did it by Discord. They just kept sending me pictures of what was left, and I was like, that guy. And the nice thing is, with what did we have? 18 leaders a set, 5 set, 90 leaders. There were plenty of leaders that didn't get chosen, and so with only 8 or 9 of us drafting, nobody really ended up with crap leaders. But the intent is to get this up to maybe where we got 15, 16. Everybody drafts maybe 3 or 4, so that way you end up with a leader that you've never really played with before or never tried something. I've got to build some decks for that, and I'm gonna film whatever I'm gonna go down on the table, set the cameras. I'm gonna film what I build, and then after we play the event, I'll post some videos to YouTube about what I drafted and then what I ended up building, and then how it went out because I think it'll be fun. It'll be my first chance to play Trilogy, so I'm kind of curious about that.
Don't forget, nothing's banned in Trilogy.
I'm aware. I am aware.
Everything.
Nothing's banned yet.
I am aware. That's true. That's true. I think they're gonna have to fix that at some point to get people interested in it.
No, they teased it in the Force Throw ban list.
Did they?
Stream.
I missed that.
They didn't come out and say it was trilogies, but they talked about how there's another stream that's coming, the regularly scheduled stream, and it's stay tuned for what it's going to address. And then they said that like right after they've been talking about trilogies, something like that.
Interesting.
No.
Okay.
If I can't play TDR in trilogies, I'm out. I'm out.
I did draft Tarkin.
Nice.
I did draft Tarkin. I drafted him last, I think. He was late. Nobody had picked Tarkin. I think I drafted him last. Anyways,
nice.
About 10 days ago or so, guys, there was an article over on the FFG website from Tyler Parrott talking through kind of their design process for Legends of the Force and some of the testing they did on the Force mechanic. Did you guys read this?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love these articles. I love getting an insight to behind the scenes of how they accomplished what they accomplished, kind of some of the ways we didn't know exactly what to do with the Force. I like seeing the sausage made. I like getting to look back and be like, oh, we were going to use the Force this way, but then it ended up this happened when we did playtest, a little playtesting that they're able to do. So we changed it to this. So I really enjoy this type of article.
Anything
really like it sounded interesting. It sounded interesting when the Force was I have it, you have it. I have it, you have it.
Right.
It was like a give
only one player could control it at the time, right?
Yeah, that sounded interesting.
Yeah. Anything in particular in this article stand out that was just like, oh, I didn't know that, or oh, that's really cool, or I like their what they're thinking there was.
I like how they talked about how they understand now that they have to make beefier 2 and 3 drops.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting in the article. How about how they were very proud of all of the Legends of the Force, and they listed them in the article. 2 drops.
The 2 drops, the 2 Force
really can survive, right?
Yeah,
like, that's the whole thing. Like, can they survive something? Like, the article talked about like there wasn't any 2 drop that could survive Cloud Rider. There was no 3 drop that could survive Open Fire, but now you've got both.
Right,
that can survive either.
There are some 2 drops that can survive Open Fire. Gunji, for example. Right?
Yeah, Gunji. Yeah. So I thought that was cool that they're starting to understand that like what we like is beefier unit. Well,
I think it's one of the hallmarks of the
You're
first
muted,
year.
Trey.
Yeah, one of the hallmarks of the first year of the game is that, man, everything died super quick. Like you put a unit down and it died, and you put a unit down and it died, and you put a unit down and it died, and it was very difficult to build a board, and that's why when they came out with the coordinate keyword in set 3, I think everybody laughed and rolled their eyes a little bit. Like, guys, my units last an average of 1 turn, maybe 2 if I'm lucky. And now you want me to build a board that's 3 or more units? That's insane. Are you on crack? Do you not play your own game, right? Like, and now with the cards they're printing today, you might actually be able to go back and pull some of that coordinate stuff out of set 3 and get some good value out of it, depending on what it is. I think that's interesting.
That is interesting. What I was saying is that they have realized through all of their intense scrutiny and research and lessons that people like to play with the cards they play.
They don't want to see them die as soon as they hit the table.
Yeah, I want to play a unit and then get to use it. That's the insanity.
Who could have predicted
the mental leap that they had to get there. I'm glad that they eventually worked their way through the logic and they sifted the reams of data.
Oh my God!
To understand that people like to play cards and then play the cards
and then actually get use out of it, as opposed to just play it. They want to play it and then do something with it. Yeah, exactly. My favorite part of the article. Actually, I want to hit this before I talk about this. I think it's interesting because I'm wondering if this is going to cause a bit of a shift in mindset amongst the player base going into year 2, right? Going into set 7, 8, and 9. What I mean is, right now, in general, a unit that you play onto the board and does not have some kind of immediate impact on the board, a win played ability, ambush, something, is largely considered trash, right? Because units just die so fast, or that historically they have died so fast that a unit that you play and doesn't do something, most people won't even look at, right? But if they're getting away from that, thank God, let's just add that in here. But if they're getting away from that, I think it opens up the game to a lot more interesting units, more units that we don't typically see might start to find their way to the table.
And they are also pushing. I like this is another part of the article that speaks to this and them getting away from cards that just point at a dude and kill it, and it's more about attaching that to a body. Yeah. So like Talzin's Assassin is a great example of this. They didn't make a card that says give a creature -4/-4 or give a unit -4/-4. They made a unit that comes in, and if you hit the right things, it can kill somebody as well, or at least shrink them, or it can take somebody out.
For me, my favorite part of this article was there's a section partway down where he starts talking about control decks, right? And he's talking about exactly what you're saying, right? That, one of my biggest gripes with the game to this point is that there's too much unit removal in events, right? Yeah, I'll play a unit, my opponent plays Power of the Dark Side. I play a unit, they play Vanquish. I play a unit, they play Shatterpoint. It's boring. It's just it makes me want to punch babies. Right. Tyler talks in this article about a deliberate. I know, right? I'm just smack people. Talks in this article.
Excuse to punch babies.
Exactly right. Of a deliberate. He's talking about it. They're making a deliberate effort to try to take those kinds of effects off of events and put them onto units. I like the idea of this because units are that's where players interact with each other. We both have something on the board. Now we're going to interact somehow. Maybe we're in different lanes. Okay, that's a quirk. But if we're in the same lane, there's going to be some kind of interaction, or at least the potential for interaction exists, as opposed to, look, I put a unit on the board. I played a card and murdered it. I put it on the board. I played a card and murdered it. Like just that's oh my God, it makes me want to puke whenever I run into those games.
So I think that's an artifact of the way that the sets are designed. Like the designers for set 1 were different than the designers for set 2, were different than set 3. And everybody, you design one set and you put your blinders on and you're making your set and you have one card that kills somebody. And maybe you look over and you say, well, this is how they killed somebody before.
Let's do it different.
Let's do it slightly different. So once you get five sets in, you've now got 5 cards at least that just kill somebody. So the options for control,
it's exhausting.
Spiral up.
Yeah, it's exhausting. And
So much control right now. So much.
And I would much rather have like a card like Talzin's Assassin, as strong as it is more indicative of where I would like to see them going with those kinds of effects than a card like Whirlwind of Power. Right? They both basically functionally do the same thing, don't they? They make a unit -3/-3. The difference is one puts a unit into the field and requires you to use your force token to get that effect. The other one, I just dump an event out of my hand and murder something. I know which one I would rather see, right? Because in order for that Talzin's Assassin to do to have its impact, I have to have played another unit in advance and attacked with that to get that force token, so that when I play the assassin, I can use the token to then, do the thing, right? New Anakin is another good example, right? I have to have hero and or villain things in my discard pile, which means either I'm playing very specific leaders that allow me to discard things like Kylo, or I'm playing units and interacting with my opponent. We're battling each other, so those units go to the trash pile, so that when Anakin gets played, he has his board impact, right? All of those things. I like that idea. But man,
I think there's a room for something like Whirlwind of Power, as long as it's niche. And they're very narrow, and your deck might have one of that type of card in it, but it's mostly as long as the needle is swung over to the Talzin Assassin style removal, I'm fine. If because there has to be room for control. You have to be able to play control. It just needs to not be dominant. And so if you have to play Whirlwind of Power in your deck, I'm fine with, okay, you played a card, you shrunk my guy, you killed the guy, like we had this battle, you shrunk this, or you killed my early play, or whatever. That's fine.
And I'll be honest, I don't mind if they continue to make removal events in very small quantities, right? If let's just say they reprint Rivals Fall, right? Has anybody, I personally don't feel like that event is bad. It's extremely expensive. It's capable of murdering anything in the game, and I can only have 3 of them in my deck. If you were to reprint that, but not reprint all of the other friggin' blue removal that people play around it right now, personally, I don't think that's bad, right? It's the equivalent of, getting hit by Cunning. Well, at least there's only 3 in the deck, thank God, right? Like, whatever.
Right.
Go ahead, Ian.
Yeah.
Doesn't all this removal though go away in rotation?
Not all of it.
It's so no glory, only results. But
So you're gonna keep no glory. You're gonna keep Shatterpoint.
Okay.
Let's see. What are we gonna?
Kind of niche.
We're
Shatterpoint's kind of niche.
Shatterpoint is a little niche in that you have to be playing a force. You have to be playing a force decks to get max value out of it. Let's put it that way. Crushing Blow. Crushing Blow is very niche, and I'm actually okay with that kind of removal, right? I think as much as the card irritates me in limited, I'm okay with it at a premier level because, oh my gosh, you killed my 2-drop. Okay, I'll manage, right? Like, whatever.
And you spent more resources than I spent on it to do it.
Very possibly, right? But what's going to rotate out in another few months? We're going to lose Power of the Dark Side. We're going to lose Vanquish. We're going to lose Takedown. We're going to lose Fell the Dragon. Then we're going to lose Rivals Fall. Are all going to rotate out. Thank God.
Entrenched. Hold on. We're going to lose Entrenched.
You're going to lose Entrenched. You're going to lose
Perilous
Overwhelming
Position.
You're going to lose Overwhelming Barrage. That's still removal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're losing a lot of the removal cards.
Fine.
So as long as they don't reprint it or add a whole bunch more, you're not going to end up with what I believe this meta is going to end up with in a few years. It's all be just black vigilance removal over and over again.
And I think if you're going to do it, if you're going to reprint any of it, you need to be reprinting the neutral stuff. Like, don't reprint Power of the Dark Side. Because then you're
that's the worst.
Yeah,
that's the worst of the Fender, and it just focuses people into playing, blue villain hard control. If you want control to be viable, it needs to be equally viable, regardless of whether you're playing hero or villain. So print roughly equivalent cards, or just print neutrals. Reprint Rivals Fall or Takedown or something, but do it in very small quantities, right? Like pick 2 of them, or maybe just 1 of them, and reprint that and move on.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my opinion. Last topic for the week, guys. It's spoiler season. We said it earlier. We're only like 6-7 weeks away from pre-releases of the next set. And
I love
spoilers,
pre-release.
yeah,
My
spoilers,
favorite.
spoilers are dropping like hotcakes. We're getting anywhere from like 2 to 4 to 5 spoilers a day at this stage. Ian, what have you seen on the list that stuck out to you that you've been like, oh, I can't wait for this card? Is it a leader? Is it a unit? What's caught your fancy so far?
So leader-wise, Yularen
Oh yeah,
for draft and
Oh,
sealed
yeah.
purposes, because Leia, I'm sure not everybody who's listening to us right now got to play Spark
True.
as
just Spark when it was all there
as
was.
draft or sealed,
Yeah.
because it was so scarce to get your hands on.
That's true.
But
We drafted
luckily,
a lot.
Our local shop held the boxes for us, which was
Mhm.
super nice of them. So the double attack is huge. The fact that it's not like trait based and it's just I can attack with a 7 unit and then attack with a 6 unit
Mhm.
because it has to cost
It's
less.
to cost less.
I think it's going to be gigantically huge. Now, I don't think it's going to play. I think it's going to play really well in sealed and draft, but I don't think it will be as impactful because it looks like a lot of the cards a little lower on the power, but higher on the defense because they're like all officials and stuff. So for what
Yeah.
I've seen so far, like a lot of the units are like 2/4, 3/5. Like they're not heavy on the attack.
Okay.
So I think getting that extra attack will really help. I'm also coming around to disclose. The more disclose cards they show, the more I'm kind of interested in that mechanic of I'm going to show you my cards because it's got a really good effect. So I think that's going to play pretty well. I don't know. I'm coming around to it though.
I think Disclose is going to be very card dependent and possibly deck or even matchup dependent, right? Like in certain matchups, you might be okay. Totally. So I don't care if you know that I have this in my hand. In certain matchups, he's like, I don't want you to know I had this in my hand. So I'm just going to not disclose it to you. I also think we're going to see more and more leaders than Padme that trigger off Disclose. And she's the only one we've seen so
I hope
far.
so.
And I think
hope
there's
so.
going to be at least one villain leader we haven't seen yet. We've only seen 7 of the 18, I think was the final count I looked at. So we haven't even seen half the leaders yet. And I think there's going to be at least one villain leader that triggers off Disclose as well.
That'd be fun. So on Carno Yularen, he's a common, so he will show up a
Yes,
lot.
he'll show up a lot.
Yeah.
I thought
Yes.
that's very
Yeah,
cool.
he'll
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
And then one of the other themes of this set are the spies that are 1/1s for with a raid 1 that costs 0. So he will a deck built to take advantage of it will always have that second attack for 2 more.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be interesting.
Spy tokens are 0-2 raid 2.
Oh, there's 0-2 raid 2 or raid 1?
0-2 raid 2.
Raid 2.
Okay. Well, same thing.
Yep. What about you, Trey? Anything else? Is that it? Just really Yularen or something else?
No, that's all I've seen so far that
Okay.
stood out to me that I was like, man, I'm looking forward to playing this guy in draft. Like,
Okay.
I was
Trey,
drafting him.
Okay. Trey, what about you? Anything stood out?
I'm really interested. I'm looking at this earlier. I'm interested in Padme because I like
the new leader.
The new leader Padme that says when you're revealing cards, you deal damage with her because she's not. It doesn't say when you use the ability, the disclose ability. It's when you reveal any cards. So like the Rey from Legends of the Force, you draw it to reveal it. It's in your hand when you did that. So that now Rey is dealing 3 damage because you're dealing 2 with Rey and you're dealing 1 with Padme. So I think I don't know how many reveal cards there are, but I do find that interesting that it doesn't say when you disclose, it just says when you reveal, and that'll trigger off of other stuff.
That triggers if your opponent looks at your hand. Oh, you're gonna play Spark of Rebellion on me? Okay. Well, here's my hand. You discard a card, and then Padme is gonna deal damage to you because you revealed. Yeah, that works.
I hadn't considered that one yet.
100%. Right. Padme's her ability is also a little defensive.
She also doesn't exhaust when you do that, so you could do it multiple times around.
Her leader, when you flip her leader side, she doesn't exhaust. On her like leader side, she does exhaust. I'm almost positive.
Oh yeah, it says you may exhaust this leader. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But when you flip her over, when she deploys, it's like Django. It doesn't have a limit on it. You can every single time it happens, she can throw out that damage. Just Padme, Trey. Anything else?
Not really. I look at them like I've said before. I look at them when they come by and I go, "That's interesting," but I don't sit down and really get into it.
I'm the same way. I look at it and go, "Huh, that's interesting," but I don't spend tons of brain power on it because we haven't seen the whole set yet. So seeing individual cards in a vacuum for me makes it difficult to judge. there are certain cards that have been revealed that I immediately latch on and go, I can't wait to get that because I've got a deck I'm going to put it right into, right? They spoiled Fulminatrix this past week, right? Which is basically the first order Star Destroyer we've seen. It's an 8-cost 9/7 first order space unit. And so immediately my eyes lit up and went, oh, Phasma is excited because now I have something past Kylo at 6 resources to keep resourcing towards and play and impact the board when it plays and have this big unit, like another possible closing card for that deck. So that was exciting. I was like, glad to see that one. They spoiled Arenda Price. Have you guys seen her?
I did see her. She is quite interesting.
She is going to be nasty. There are
Is she a leader or a regular
No,
unit?
she's a regular unit, but she's like the villain version of K2SO, kind of, in a weird way.
She's red-black, and she costs 4, and she's a 4/4 who is an Imperial. And when she's defeated, you may defeat another friendly unit. If you do, deal 4 damage to each enemy base. So she's gonna play real well with Thrawn, because
now pair her with Thrawn, and it's like, whoa, this starts to get really interesting, right? Like there's gonna be some fun shenanigans in Red Blue Thrawn going forward off of her, I think.
You're either going to use her ability twice to kill 2 units, or you're going to use her ability to kill something and then double up that thing.
Exactly right.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, and there's a lot of weird things you can chain into that, right? The other thing you could possibly do, play her in red-green villain, and she's a very great, easy way to murder your super laser technicians. You don't have to worry about attack with them, and then she murders it, and then does base damage while she does it. Like, there's some really neat things you can do with her. I like the card. I think it opens up a lot of neat things. They spoiled.
What do you guys think of plot? The plot mechanic so far that you've seen, the cards wise.
Some I think are going to be impactful. Some I'm kind of mixed on. One of the ones I spoiled today, I immediately latched onto as a Phasma enjoyer, is a first order card. It's a first order unit that has plot on it. The problem is it costs 5, and it's like, well, Phasma doesn't want to play this card. Exactly. I don't want to play this card when I flip Phasma. I want to play Phasma unit, do shenanigans with her, then flip my Phasma. Right? Like that's the ideal flip turn for Phasma. With that said, I'll probably still play the card because it's still a first order unit and it's not badly costed, nor is the ability bad. And the opportunity to play it as a plot card has some intriguing things. And I'm willing to bet, we know already there are other ways to play plot cards out of your resource row, right? We've already seen that villain event that lets you basically play a card with plot on it. Okay, cool. Spend 1, play that thing, pay for it, replace it. So it works a little like Smuggle that way. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I like how plot is kind of card draw. It's pseudo card draw because you're getting to, as long as that's the thing you want to do with your flip, you're getting to use a card out of your resources.
A dead card,
of your
basically.
hand.
Yeah, basically a dead card.
Yeah.
It's functionally like Smuggle. It just the difference is that Smuggle's timing window is very open. Plot's timing window is incredibly narrow. You have exactly 1 action in the game that you will ordinarily be able to deploy plot cards. That's it. When you flip your leader, you get to do the plot thing. Other than that, you're done, unless there's some other cards like we talked about that allow you to break that rule.
Twin Sons.
Well, I was just thinking. So the Chancellor,
I hadn't even thought about that. That's fascinating.
The Chancellor Palpatine.
Oh, it's always what I think first when I see cards is Twin Sons.
The blue Chancellor Palpatine that says when deployed, the next card you play using plot costs 1 less. Never mind. So anyway, I was trying to build something with that where you got to deploy multiple times, but it only works with him when he's deployed. It's also super grindy.
Our boy Admiral Trench that can deploy multiple times per game.
But it doesn't work because it's a when deployed ability with Chancellor Palpatine, which I just realized. But that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, Palpatine doesn't work, but Trench could use plot more than once, right? You have to pay because you pay to deploy him.
Right, you pay to deploy him, and then you put him back, and you put him. It's super grindy. So that's what I was thinking about with Palpatine. But then I was like, that is a lot of work to save 1, 3. How much?
I think they hinted that there's another leader in this set that will have multiple deployment opportunities, similar to Trench. They haven't said how he functions, but I could have sworn I read that somewhere that there was another leader in this set that would work like that. He could deploy multiple times.
That's cool.
Yeah, I really liked Luthen Rail. I think that leader has some interesting potential. Just because, I mean, we know Rebel is good. Like Rebel just in general is good. And then again, similar to what we were talking about with Price, like there's some interesting effects that you can use with him to make sure that your units die when they attack, like a card like Heroic Sacrifice, right? That basically says attack with a unit. At the once it deals combat damage, it's dead. You could literally Heroic Sacrifice a unit into the enemy base and then still trigger Luthen's game text. That's kind of skanky. And I think there's probably some other cards out there that function that way. I'd have to think about it. But him combo him with like K2SO. Like he loves K2SO. They're best buddies, right? K2 wants to die, right?
Anything with overpower. Yeah, anything with overpower.
Anything with overpower on it. Like there's I think
Overwhelm.
Yeah,
Overwhelm. Sorry.
Overwhelm. I think Luthen has some interesting possibilities to him, and I like that he's just he flips on 5 and he's 7 HP. He'll stick around a little longer than most of the 5 flip leaders.
I really like how thematic he is. That he just wants everything to burn. He wants everything to die.
Super
in a big
thematic.
Fire, and then he's going to take just his little tweak of text off of that. That's pretty cool. I think they did a good job with his flavor.
We can nitpick card design in this game all we want, but I got to say the number of times that the design team has just absolutely nailed the thematic flavor of a card is just off the charts. There's just all kinds of cards in the game. You're like, oh yeah, that makes total sense how that works because that's super thematic.
Who are the starter deck leaders?
The feature decks, the spotlight decks are Palpatine and Padme. The blue
so they won't be available in draft.
They will not. They will
showcase.
Correct. They will not be available in draft. Yeah. So of the leaders we've seen, only 5 of the ones that we've seen are draftable so far, right? Because we know Padme and Palpatine are starter deck leaders, and then who else have we seen? It's Luthen, Satine. We just saw it today. Gildarin.
Mm-hmm.
Scrolling back up.
Deidre
Sly Moore
and Sly
Moore and Dedra Miro. Oh yeah, so those are so far. Those are the leaders that we've seen that'll show up in draft. Dedra surprised me. She was a little bit of a surprise. Just not her ability necessarily. Well, I did surprise me her ability a little bit. I'll be honest. I wouldn't have put her in red. I wouldn't have expected to see her in red. It kind of makes sense given the scene that they've chosen her from, right? That's like the interrogation scene towards the end of the first season of Andor. She's very angry. She's very angry in this scene.
And then her unit is green, so.
Yes. Yeah, they've spoiled or they've shown us a glimpse of that elsewhere. Or they already spoiled it?
Yeah, it's already spoiled.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yep, there it is. Yes, the 5/5 ambush. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's the leaders so far. I'm liking where they're going with the leader design in this set, and we've spent so much time, Ian, you and I, over the last few weeks with our heads in limited. I kind of am looking at all this stuff in the same way. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to draft this set. Can't wait to draft this.
Yeah, I'm in a limited mindset right now for sure.
Same. All right, guys. Anything else we want to hit, or should we hang it up for the week?
So while you guys were busy doing some dumb stuff, like covering a draft.
That's true.
Of just the select few, the 1%ers up there in their golden towers drafting. The rest of us plebes were playing the new hotness for a game that I have to evangelize. It was sold to me.
You were telling us about this.
It made me so happy to play this game, and I took it to Dragon's Lair, not this week, but last week, and then promptly sold them out. So it's called Flip 7. It's the $8 of $8 games. It's the greatest. It's a deck of cards. It takes less than a minute to learn to play the game, and it is super fun. The more people you can get playing, the better. It's awesome. So we played it. I want to say we played with 8 people, and so one person is the dealer, and they have a deck of cards, and they flip over. Wes, here's your card. It's a 7. Ian, you get a 9. I get a 2, and it's just a bunch of cards that have numbers on them, and it's a press your luck game. Where all right, Wes, do you want another card? I'm gonna give. All right, you got a 6. And Ian, do you want another card? So we're gonna go around until you either freeze or you bust. And a bust is not like in 21 or blackjack. A bust is when you get a pair. So if you've got 6 cards in front of you, they're all different numbers, and I flip up and I pair one of them, you get nothing.
Yeah, you are busted.
Oh.
You're busted. And so it's a very good party game. It's a lot of, everybody focuses on one person and then their choice for the moment, but it only takes a second for them to make that choice. And then you move to the next person. So while somebody's deliberating, people are egging them on or cheering. And in practice, it is a ton of fun. You can play it in a restaurant. You can play it at your home. But I got some people coming over to play a board game tomorrow. We're all going to play that probably more than we're playing the board game.
Nice.
So it is super fun. And it's, I don't know if it's new or not, but I just found it at the PQ. So wherever you go to play cards, look for Flip 7, pick it up, give it a try. It's fantastic. Once you're done with the evening, everybody's kind of tired. They played all their games of SWU. You'd be like, all right, before we go, we're going to play Flip 7 once. That's it.
For $8,
that's where we're gonna go.
It's cheaper than a value meal, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's funny. I remember you telling us about this. I'll have to get a copy for before like Thanksgiving or Christmas this year, because this sounds like a great game to play with like family.
Yes, exactly.
But I remember you were telling us about this, and then I remembered reading not long after, like literally like days after, there were other editions of it. No, I'm not finding it right now. But anyway, I've read an article, like one of these board game website articles crossed my feed talking about these 2 alternate editions of it, and I was like, "What is this?" I didn't read it, but it caught my eye. I meant to go back and read it later, and I never did. So I'll have to go look that up and check it out sometime. So cool. All right, new card game to check out. Make sure you bring that to DL. We'll play it at some point.
Yeah, I will.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, listen. Thanks for tuning in. Do the like and subscribe thing wherever you happen to hang out with us. As always, you can give us feedback. We got our little Buzzsprout site that'll be linked in the video description or the episode description. Trey has a fancy Discord bot that you can use if you want to join and engage with us at some point. Let us know. We can get you hooked up in instructions to how to dump that onto whatever Discord server you want. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you in a couple of weeks.